Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Joe Palmer begins now.
Good evening, everyone. The trial into the death of a grandfather who allegedly fell victim to a deadly ruse planned by his best friend and wife has begun in Hobart's Supreme Court. Dwayne "Doc" Davies was a Risdon Vale tattoo artist before he was killed in May 2017.
The trial into the alleged murder at this Elderslie property beginning today. Dwayne "Doc" Davies' wife Margaret Ann Otto and best friend Bradley Scott Purkis are standing trial for his murder. Prosecutors say they're former lovers and planned his death because of growing resentment. It's alleged Mr Purkis lured his friend here, where he shot and killed him in the head and back. The grandfather's body found in a shallow grave at another property. But the court heard today there was no motive for Mr Purkis to commit such a crime against his closest friend. That it's not an agreed fact he was killed that evening, and the whole case rests on Mr Davies being murdered during a certain period of time. The Crown advising the jury even if Miss Otto did not conduct the actual killing, she can still be found guilty of murder without being there if she helped plan or incite it. Ms Otto's defence questioning why she would plan a cold-blooded murder the night before a family reunion. Bradley Purkis sat expressionless in the dock here today, but a clearly distressed Margaret Otto sat shaking and often crying on the first day of the trial of her husband's alleged murder. The trial is expected to last 6 weeks and hear from around 50 witnesses. Louise Hedger, 7 Tasmania News. Tensions between Tasmania's politicians have today boiled over into a dramatic question time as rifts deepen between parties and individuals in the Parliament. A theatrical debate saw 4 Labor members get the boot for inappropriate behaviour, while the Speaker was left on her own to explain her controversial call for a pay rise.
A complicated web of political feuds unfolding into a theatrical question time, resulting in 4 Labor members getting kicked out in little more than an hour.
It's time for you to go out. Thank you. Thank you. Goodbye. I suggest you leave the chamber for an hour. I'll ask you to leave the House for an hour.
The rogue Speaker already on the defensive as MPs attacked her controversial call for a pay rise.
I'd be very careful before you go down a slippery slope reflecting on the Speaker.
It's not the government's position at all, and we leave it to the independent umpire to make these determinations, and we're not seeking any increases.
While Labor questioned the government on unemployment, the Treasurer used a new tactic to prove he's creating jobs.
Treasurer, one of those, Madam Speaker. Tradies wear them, Madam Speaker.
Opposition parties already on edge after a tense confrontation on morning radio over Labor's public breakup with the Greens.
We'll stand with that community in Lyons to defend Swansea from a totally inappropriate development. I just think it's...
But this is typical of the Greens. You talk down to people if they don't agree with your position.
Well, I just listened to you talk down to me at length.
Quite frankly, the Greens are irrelevant to my plans for a better and fairer Tasmania.
A day of debate, but little of it over legislation.
It is like days of our lives, this constant on again, off again thing.
Michelle Wisby, 7 Tasmania News.
Police have been searching bushland in the state's northwest this afternoon for a man who has been missing for almost a week. Shane Keith Marshall was last seen on Wednesday and hasn't been heard from for several days. The 49-year-old's car has been found near Elliot, where police are focusing their search. Anyone with information is asked to contact Crime Stoppers. Wildlife rescuers have had to put down a potteroo cruelly injured by a banned trap on Hobart's eastern shore. Environment authorities are investigating the incident, with fears endangered animals were the real target. And a warning, viewers may find the following story distressing.
A cruel end for an innocent animal. A walker confronted with a trapped potteroo at Mount Rumney on Thursday. The protected animal caught in a banned contraption.
The pain that animal would have been in, we don't know how long that animal was there for. Has that been there for 3 days? Quite possibly. You know, you really don't know. It's just horrific thoughts.
Vets had to euthanise the injured animal. Dipipui is now investigating the placing of the prohibited still jaw trap, which was carefully baited with meat. It sparked concerns whoever responsible may have been trying to capture endangered species.
It sort of makes us wonder what they were trying to catch. It's probably unlikely they were trying to catch a cat that way, so it's more likely to be something like a devil or a quoll or a raptor.
The incident has also raised concerns over the safety of people, children and their pets in the area, with authorities now worried of a potential spate of similar trappings.
I really hope that this is an isolated incident in that area and that we're not suddenly going to now have a whole lot of really vigilant people finding a whole lot more evidence that there's a lot more happening.
Anyone with information can provide it to Crime Stoppers and remain anonymous. Ruby Kamane, 7 Tasmania News.
The state government is pushing ahead with a controversial fast-tracked rezoning project. It could see the construction of more than 450 homes, but existing residents near Kingston say the area can't cope.
This empty land is on track to becoming Tasmania's newest subdivision. The government tabling plans in Parliament today to see 34 hectares rezoned for housing and business.
We're creating more housing opportunities for Tasmanians because we all know that with a growing economy and a growing population, we need more houses.
Huntingfield residents say they still haven't been consulted and are concerned about the density of the project.
We still haven't been, obviously consulted as a community, and I believe it's amended slightly from 500 lots down to 450.
The order shows that we have listened during the consultation phase because there's a couple of areas where we have taken on the feedback and made amendments. That's exactly what the Minister promised to do and what we're delivering.
The government was showing off its new traffic management measures for the growing region, including this tow truck to clear up southern outlet crashes. Congestion a key concern of the development.
With the congestion busting initiatives that we have, which is a comprehensive and long-term plan, we know that there are some things that we can do immediately, other things that will take more time.
The fast-tracked rezoning will be voted on by Parliament before it undergoes the normal development assessment process. Ebony Ablett, 7 Tasmania News.
Drinking water quality at backup dams around Hobart is being improved as the city prepares for a dry summer. TasWater spent the day at Risdon Brook Dam cleaning sediment from the water. The source has long been used as a backup supply for Greater Hobart, but the company says it's being relied upon more in recent years.
With the forecast for the summer of a bit of a warmer summer, we want to have as much water available to use, so this will be important to have good water quality for our customers.
TasWater said it's in the process of upgrading other treatment plants to meet growing demand. Wildlife investigators have confirmed a dog attack is behind the deaths of 42 penguins at Doctors Rocks near Wynyard last Thursday. The attack killed nearly a quarter of the local colony's population. Parks and Wildlife is now caring for a number of chicks left orphaned from the incident. Dog owners are being urged to take responsibility for their animals at all times to prevent more attacks in the future. Investigations are ongoing and anyone with information is asked to contact Parks and Wildlife. Children at the Royal Hobart Hospital's paediatric ward received a special visitor today, the founder of the Hush Foundation, visiting families in the outpatient clinic, reading to them from their treasure book. It's a collaborative project between Australian authors and illustrators, aiming to bring joy into what is a challenging time for many families.
And if we can bring music and the arts in to help, I think it is fantastic, not only for the patients and families, but I think about the staff who are doing the hard work.
They are also recording an album with Australian singer-songwriters and the Tasmanian Symphony Orchestra, due to be released mid-next year. Record crowds are expected at this year's Junction Arts Festival, which promises to be bigger and better than ever. Events and performances will be held in various locations around Launceston, celebrating the city's art. Dance performances, plays, live music and light installations all feature as part of the festival.
This is a festival that's all about the community coming together, having fun, partying, going wild, eating incredible food, drinking beautiful wine and booze from around Launceston and seeing some amazing art.
15,000 people are expected to take part in the 5-day event. Students at Newstead College are preparing to draw the curtains ahead of tomorrow's opening of Little Shop of Horrors in Launceston. 40 students will take to the stage in a show filled with singing, dancing, colourful costumes and even a giant flesh-eating plant.
Having the set, the lighting and the costumes, all the pieces put together really just makes us so excited to share it with you.
But the performance hasn't been without its challenges.
The New York accent for one, as well as trying to sing in that accent, because it's a whole different ballgame once you try and sing with it.
The students have been rehearsing for 8 months. The show will run at the Earl Arts Centre until Sunday. Consolidate your funds and think wisely. These are just a couple of messages coming from a major finance conference in Hobart today. Hundreds of the world's top investment experts gathered to discuss superannuation. And their advice is not to panic during an uncertain time in the stock markets.
It's important, I think, not to make rash decisions because your superannuation investments are diversified and it's not just the stock market that you're invested in.
It's estimated the superannuation industry in Australia is worth $1.4 trillion.
The cricket season's approaching for the Tasmanian Tigers women's team, with the squad heading to Adelaide for a series of practice matches. After just missing out on the final last season, the side's been working on how to handle pressure when games go down to the wire. Last season was the best yet for the Tigers women's players. They were only denied a spot in their first ever WNCL final after the last round of results didn't go their way.
It shows that we believe in what we're doing and the processes that we've put in place.
Wiping out a fear of failure has been a big focus this pre-season after the side dropped winnable games in the Big Bash League.
We've got to be more interested in, okay, well, how can I be that person to make the difference? So we've tried to do a lot of situations in training where there's really a lot of pressure on, and what are those strategies to make sure when that ball comes, I'm making it.
The 15-person squad will play 2 practice matches in Adelaide later this week before the season starts in Brisbane in 3 weeks' time. Meanwhile, the Northwest graduates are into the Premier League Hockey Grand Final after a stirring 2-1 win over Uni, the team which knocked grads out of last year's finals race.
After last year, a lot of the guys were pretty disappointed, so I think that sort of fueled us up a bit. It was a very close game though, but very happy to get the job done.
Only Derwent stands between grads and the title.
They'll be very tough, yeah, very tough. We've had some really good encounters this year.
In the NPL, Hobart Zebras and Clarence United are in merger talks. The clubs estimate a combined team would boast more than 500 registered players, making it one of the biggest clubs in the league. If successful, the club will be called the Clarence Zebras. Members will vote on the proposal in a fortnight. And Lauderdale's Mitch Anderton will miss this weekend's TSL semi-final against North Launceston after copping a one-match ban for striking Glenorchy's Jay Bowden, while Glenorchy's Sam Reeves and Lauderdale's Sam Siggins face the tribunal for separate incidents tonight.
Good evening. Myriad locations with our top today of 20, including Hobart, Bushy Park and Campania, Launceston 17, Burnie 18 and Devonport 14 degrees. Temperatures up to 5 above average with sunny conditions today after a few early showers, very early for some. St Helens and Ouse 19, Smithton 16, Strawn and the Islands 15 degrees, Low Head and Lyoweeney 14. The overnight and early cloud cover cleared, paving the way for that fine mostly sunny day. Just a couple of cloud patches over us, but a band of cloud is just to our west, and that is due to a low and cold front heading our way. A trough is over southern WA with mid-level cloud over that region. A strong high pressure system had the clear conditions prevailing elsewhere. Tomorrow the front crosses Tasmania as another system moves over the Bight. The high continues to be a force up north, however a surface trough extends through Western and South Australia. The winds west and northwesterly up to 25 knots but to 30 knots over southern waters. They will tend more west-southwesterly later. A strong wind warning from Wineglass Bay to Sandy Cape has been issued by the Bureau. And for Hobart, 15 tomorrow, a shower or 2. 15 also for Geeveston with showers in the air. Bothwell a shower or 2 and 14 degrees. Launceston can expect tomorrow a high of 16 degrees, a shower or 2 clearing, a morning shower for Devonport and 15 and a top of 16 for Cressy. For Burnie, 15 the top with morning showers, showery in the west, Strawn 13 on King Island, Curry a morning shower and 14. St Helens partly cloudy and 16, a possible shower for Swansea and 16 the top for Orford. On Thursday, showers over the west and far south clearing, widespread morning frost and snow to 800 metres with late rain for King Island. On Friday, rain over the north extending elsewhere during the day, not as much over the south and southwest. And on Saturday, a few showers again, mainly over the west, south and east. Showers easing from Perth and Adelaide tomorrow, a late shower moving over Melbourne, a little cloudy in Canberra, but sunny weather for Sydney, Brisbane and points further north. Little cloud over Hobart, 14 at the moment, clear 11 in Launceston and 12 right now in Devonport. I can officially call it Spring Joe due to some itchy eyes. I popped my first antihistamine today and had this strange feeling to go out the back and lift the barbecue cover off and wipe off all that green mould off the hot plate. And you get cheerier as well. It's definitely spring.
Oh, that's disgusting. Why do you have to say things like that to us? All right, thank you. Well, that's all from the news team for now. Thanks so much for your company. I'll see you a bit later with updates. Bye-bye.